Good morning, everyone. This is Carrie McCann-Botel, President with the Iowa Council of Foundations. We're happy to have all of you joining us this morning for a webinar to overview our 2017 Capacity Building Grant Programs for Iowa Community Foundations. Our call will be pretty short today. We're hoping to keep it under 30 minutes. And I have everyone in listen-only mode today while I share this information. But please note you can use the chat box function on your screen to ask any questions throughout the presentation. And we'll also open it up at the end of our time together to answer any other questions that you may have. So we'll go ahead and get started. The Capacity Building Grants Program is funded through the Community Foundation Initiative. The Iowa Council of Foundations has served as the lead philanthropic entity in the state of Iowa since 2004, and funding is made available through the Iowa Economic Development Authority to support these grants. The grant program began in 2013 and was specifically focused on supporting staffing efforts at affiliates and to assist in endowment building efforts. And grant funds were used to support staffing specifically for a number of years. In 2015, the ICOF board made a strategic decision to move beyond solely funding staffing through the capacity building program. And I've had a few questions since I started in this role about why that decision was made. The board did decide this before I was a part of the organization, but I have talked with a number of members about the decision, and the reason, there were a few different reasons. First, we did not want affiliates or hosts to develop a dependence on these fundings to support their staff positions. So it's a way to encourage community foundations to secure funding for their staffing needs in diversified ways. Second, by expanding the program to support all capacity building needs, we're able to use the funding in a variety of different ways. And by defining capacity building more broadly, community foundations can now access these funds to support their organizations in a variety of different ways, and we'll go through a few of those today. Each year, there is approximately $65,000 available in funding for these grants, and that holds true for 2017. Last year, we received 8 applications, and 6 of those grants were funded. The funding ranged from about $700 all the way up to $15,000. So it's really important to note that you can right-size these grants to meet your organization's need, and no 2 applications look the same when we're talking about these capacity building grants. We did receive lots of feedback from the Community Foundation CEO Network and also the group of affiliate liaisons that we convene each year, and also from participants in the program that it might be helpful to offer 2 grant cycles. So we will be doing that this year. The first cycle will follow the calendar that we've used in the past, moving throughout the spring. But we'll also offer a fall grant cycle this year following the Connect conference. And our goal with that is that some community foundations may have needs that come up later in the year, and they may operate on a calendar year versus fiscal year. So that will allow them to apply for funding as they enter into the new year. So we're hoping that that will be a nice change to help meet specific needs at varying community foundations. We'll go through the specific timelines as we move through the presentation today. So one of the questions that I get most often is, what is capacity building? There are thousands of different definitions of capacity building in the nonprofit sector. The one that we chose to adopt is from the Council of Nonprofits, and it states that capacity building is not just about the capacity of the nonprofit, or in our case, the community foundation today. It's also about the future. So we want applicants to be considering their needs in the upcoming fiscal year or calendar year, but also the next 3 to 5 years as they think about their strategic goals. It's an investment in the effectiveness and future stability of a nonprofit, and it helps to strengthen the nonprofit's mission over time, and in a sense fuels the mission of the organization to create stronger impact. So we've shared here a few different examples of some of the programs and projects that we consider capacity building activities. This is probably the most helpful tool in this presentation to use with affiliate advisory committees or at your host or standalone community foundation staff meetings and planning what you would like to seek funding for this year through this grant program. So I encourage you to spend some time with these definitions. I'll highlight a few. We view capacity building as planning activities. This could include organizational assessments or needs assessments in a community, strategic planning. That could include planning for a board, advisory committee members, or staff members, fund development, communications and marketing, and also events. We do ask that all of these activities be tied back to fundraising strategies to grow endowment funds and operational funds at each community foundation and affiliate. The second category is board development focused on endowment growth. So this could include leadership trainings, specific board trainings to help advisory committee members understand their role in growing funds at the organization, and it may also engage volunteer members in the community to help assist them in the endowment building efforts in each county. Strategic relationships is the next category. This could include meetings and convenings in your community, helping to connect your community foundation with professional advisors and or nonprofit partners in your community, strengthening relationships with the goal of having a better impact in your community. Internal operations, including financial management, volunteer management, things that really enhance the internal systems of your community foundation. Please note that it does still say in here staff-like support for affiliate growth. We did not move completely away from funding staffing at community foundations. That's just not the sole focus anymore. We do ask if you are including staff-like support in your request that you also include some information in the narrative about your plans for sustainability and how you can sustain that position following the ICOF grant and funding support. This may be a multi-year plan, so if you potentially need 100% ICOF, or let's say 100% ICOF support in year 1, 50% ICOF support in year 2, and then in the third year you think you'll have built your capacity to fund that position fully, please share that information in your grant proposal so we have a strong understanding of what you are doing to support these staffing positions. We aren't able to make multi-year grants, but if we have an understanding of what your future needs might be, it will help us along in our planning efforts. The fifth category is technology improvements. IT capacity continues to be a big need at community foundations, so this would include hardware and software, networking, websites, and probably the most important part being staff training to help staff members and volunteers utilize those systems. And finally, professional development. So this includes local trainings, online trainings, attendance at national conferences. One that we'll highlight in a minute here is the Kansas Association of Community Foundations National Community Foundation Conference. All of those different things would qualify. I did receive a question earlier this year about funding to support attending ICOF trainings. An example might be the upcoming Community Foundation Boot Camp or our annual Connect Conference. We try to do our best to use other funds in the Community Foundation's initiative budget to support attendance at these. You'll know that we offer mileage support for the Connect Conference, and we've also highly subsidized the Community Foundation's Boot Camp. So we encourage you not to apply for additional funding for ICOF-sponsored events, but other local, statewide, and regional trainings definitely qualify under this category. We did want to highlight a few past grant examples that were successful through this program. The first was for the Community Foundation of Greater Dubuque, and one thing that I'll highlight about this proposal is it helped to support host foundation staff that work with their affiliates, and it also weaved in support for their affiliate staff members as well. So it was sort of a joint proposal, and it sought support for professional development for those new affiliate staff, and it was used to provide training for donor relations for those new staff as well. And then they were able to send several staff members to that National Community Foundations Conference with this support. So that was host community foundation staff attending and traveling with affiliate staffers. So those relationships were strengthened through the process as well. So we really, we liked that grant proposal and funded that last year. The second that we wanted to highlight was the Community Foundation of Great River Bend. This is a strategic planning example. They used their funds to work with a consultant, and the consultant reviewed their affiliate program. The grant assisted in that consultant's work to research, analyze, and prepare recommendations for the affiliate program. And the part we liked best about this program is that the Community Foundation of Great River Bend staff then brought back the lessons that they learned through that process and shared it with our affiliate liaison network and our CEO network. So there was really a learning connection that happened that allowed us to take the lessons we learned through the investment in that grant and share it with others across the state. So that was something else that we wanted to highlight, that if there's any way to share what you're doing through these grants with the broader Community Foundation network, we're open to ideas in exploring how to do that. And the third, we wanted to share an example from an affiliate community foundation. The Story County Community Foundation utilized funding to support growing their community awareness of their mission and truly their existence. One of the things we heard a lot at the Connect conference is that many community foundations are the best kept secret in their community. So they really strategized to use capacity building fundings to grow their awareness through enhanced marketing efforts, but also in providing support for their staff member to attend professional development trainings and interact with other professional peers in their local community and at the statewide level. So we wanted to share those to help get some ideas flowing at your organizations. And we have a full list of other grants that we've made in the past if you'd like to see some more examples to get some more ideas. Probably the part you're most interested in is information on the process and the timeline for the grant cycle, specifically this spring cycle. As we did last year, we will be using an eligibility pre-application process, and that opens today and will be available for the next month. The pre-application is very simple. Really what we want you to do is submit a sentence about what you intend to apply for funding for, and that will give us time to review that and give feedback to you on that pre-application before you submit a full proposal. There were a couple that we received last year that maybe weren't hitting our definition of capacity building, or maybe there were ways that we thought we could offer advice to folks on how to enhance those proposals for our board review. So we use this as sort of a coaching opportunity, and we hope that you will take advantage of that. We do ask that your pre-application is submitted by February 17th, and that will give us time to give you feedback and get you the full grant application. Once we receive your pre-application, it should take us no more than a week to review that and get back to you. And once that's approved, we'll send you a direct link to the full application. We do ask that full applications are submitted by close of business on March 31st, and we will review those full proposals and have responses back to folks before June 1st. So hopefully that will line up well with fiscal year planning efforts and budgeting efforts. As I mentioned, we will use a second application cycle this fall, and it's going to follow a similar process with applications available October 1st and due November 15th. Again, please consider submitting an application during this cycle if you have needs of things that you want to implement in early 2018. Those awards will be announced by December 1st, and you'll have those before the end of the calendar year. Obviously, we'll have more specific instruction and detail about that fall cycle as we move closer to those dates. So that is the overview of information that we wanted to share with you. I would open it up for questions. We do have quite a few folks on the call this morning, so if you could use the chat box function on your screen to submit any questions that you have, I will respond to those here. And of course, we are always willing to answer any questions via email as well. So I'll give folks a few minutes to submit any questions that they have. And I'm going to go ahead and click through to our contact information if you want to send any questions directly. I did receive a question that about applying for both cycles. Preference will be given to those in the second grant cycle who have not received a grant in the first cycle. But if there are new and emerging needs and there is still funding available in our capacity building budget, we are open to receiving a second application for the fall cycle if you have needs. But again, preference will be given to those who have not received funding in the first cycle. Okay, I see another question coming in about a copy of the slides. Yes, I would be happy to email out these slides to everyone who's registered, and we'll also be posting a recording of this webinar on our website, and we can send a direct link to that if you want to share it with any other staff members. I received a question if there will be similar amounts of grants given in each of the 2 grant cycles. Since this is the first year that we're doing the 2 cycles, I'm not sure how to answer that question the best because I'm not sure what to expect with the number of proposals that we'll receive. So I will say if you can plan accordingly and use the first cycle, I would go ahead and do that. I don't think we're going to split the allocation 50-50. The spring cycle is likely where the majority of the funds will be distributed. Okay, it doesn't look like I have any other questions coming in this morning. Please feel free to email us if something does come up. And along with the link to the webinar recording and slides, we will also send you a direct link to that pre-application so you can go ahead and get started in your planning efforts. And we thank you again for joining us this morning. And please let us know how we can be helpful throughout this process. Just a couple of quick reminders. We do have an ICOF membership meeting next Thursday, January 26th. From 10 a.m. to 2:30 at the Des Moines Botanical Gardens. And the focus is on preparing for the legislative session, so please join us if you are available. And the second is a reminder about the Community Foundation's legislative breakfast, which will be on Thursday, March 28th from 7:30 to 9 a.m. at the Capitol. And you can find registration links for that on our website as well if you'd like to join us and attend. We are printing the County Endowment Fund report this week, and those will be mailed to you and should arrive in your offices within the next couple weeks here. And we'll also be distributing those to legislators within the next couple weeks. Thanks again for joining us, and hope you all have a great week.